This is the story of a boy who lives a normal life by day, but secretly becomes the most powerful force in the shadows. The story begins in modern-day Japan. A popular girl named Akane Nishino walks through the school entrance confidently. She passes by Minoru Kageno, an average-looking boy with thin body and emotionless eyes. He greets her casually but calls her the wrong name, Izono. She corrects him politely but feels irritated. He doesn't seem to care and stays quiet, unnoticed by others. But beneath this plain existence lies his biggest obsession. He wants to become strong, not to be a hero, but to be a hidden power operating from the shadows. After school, Nishino prepares to head home alone. She walks toward the parking area, unaware that something's about to happen. Suddenly, a white van stops near her. Masked men jump out and grab her. She screams, but no one hears her, except for one person, Minoru. He had been silently watching from a distance. Kageno secretly follows them to their hideout and takes them down swiftly, using a steel rod and stealth tactics. He saves her, but makes sure she never knows it was him. Despite all his efforts, Kageno still feels unsatisfied. The police arrive at the warehouse where the kidnappers held Akane Nishino. Reporters gather, but no one knows who rescued her. The story becomes a mystery. The next day at school, Akane looks at Minoru. She approaches him, trying to talk, but he brushes her off with a plain answer and continues acting like a background character just like before. But inside, Minoru lives by a different philosophy. Since childhood, he admired power, not fame or wealth, pure strength, the kind that exists beyond rules. He trained secretly, pushing his body to the limit. He practiced martial arts, read ancient combat texts, and tested himself in real fights. But he knew, no matter how strong he became, there was always one thing beyond reach: nuclear power, explosions, and magic. One night, while reflecting on his limits, he recklessly walks into the street and hits by a truck. His body flies through the air. Everything goes dark. In that moment, he realizes, I couldn't reach it in this world, but maybe in another. That incident becomes the turning point of his life. He awakens in a completely different world, a fantasy world filled with magic, swords, kingdoms, and monsters. In this new world, he is reborn as a boy named Sid Kageno, a noble child from a prestigious family. From his early childhood, he keeps training secretly, hiding his true strength once again. While exploring a forest, Sid finds an elf girl who is cursed by demonic possession. Using his advanced magical techniques, he removes the curse, surprising even himself. He then tells her a fabricated story about the cult of Diablos. He names her Alpha and creates an organization called Shadow Garden to fight against the cult. Surprisingly, Alpha takes it seriously and believes every word. She bows before him and pledges loyalty. She begins recruiting other members. Soon Beta, Gamma, Delta, and Epsilon joins the organization. Sid decides to keep a low profile, pretending to be weak and average. His older sister, Claire Kageno, is a powerful magic user with a strong personality and a short temper, especially when it comes to her brother. Sid often lets her beat him up or scold him harshly. Again, all part of his act. Claire suddenly vanishes one day, and no one knows where she went. Sid investigates on his own. He tracks her down using information secretly gathered by Beta and the other girls. Meanwhile, Claire is being held in a hidden facility by a group of mysterious men. These men are conducting experiments on humans, transforming them into monsters using forbidden magic, something far beyond the boundaries of normal science or spells. When their leader mentions her brother, revealing plans to involve him in the experiments, Claire loses control. Enraged, she lashes out but is overpowered by the leader, who beats her and she collapses. At the same time, the Shadow Garden infiltrates the facility and begins to massacre the lower-ranking men. The leader rushes in, alarmed by the attack. Alpha engages him in battle, but he escapes by creating a hole in the ground. None of the girls follow him, knowing their Lord Shadow is already on his way down. The enemy leader confronts Shadow, mistaking him for a mere boy he can easily defeat. However, he is unaware of Shadow's immense strength. Shadow dismisses him as nothing more than a bandit and annihilates him effortlessly, like a one-sided match. The next day, Claire returns home injured but departs for the royal capital, as if nothing unusual had happened. That same evening, Alpha and the other girls inform Sid that the time has come for them to leave. Sid is left in shock, unable to understand why they are abandoning him. Sid Kageno arrives in the royal capital after parting ways with Alpha and the other girls from Shadow Garden. They left to pursue their own mission to hunt down the cult of Diablos, believing in Sid's teachings. Though Sid himself still thinks everything is part of his imagination, he assumes they were just playing along and probably got bored. Sid enrolls in the prestigious Midgar Academy, maintaining his background character persona. As part of a bet with his friends, Sid is tasked with proposing to Princess Alexia, the most beautiful girl in the academy, and asking her to be his girlfriend. Believing he will be rejected instantly, he agrees, seeing it as another opportunity to play out his background character role. But unexpectedly, Repeatedly, Alexia says yes, leaving both Sid and the rest of the school shocked. After that, Sid starts gaining more attention in the academy, which goes completely against his desire to stay unnoticed as a background character. So he tries his best to behave in annoying ways so that Alexia would dump him, but she doesn't. Later on, Alexia meets Sid secretly and tells him the reason that she wants to use Sid to break her arranged engagement and escape her noble pressures. She proposes a deal. Sid will pretend to be her boyfriend, and in return, she'll pay him in gold coins. Sid agrees, viewing the gold as a valuable resource to maintain his act as Shadow. After 2 weeks of their fake relationship, one day, Sid arrives at school and hears the shocking news that Princess Alexia has gone missing. Since Sid was the last person seen with her, he becomes the prime suspect. He is quickly captured and brought in for interrogation. Meanwhile, Princess Alexia slowly regains consciousness in a dim, underground facility. A crazed scientist calmly extracts her blood for a twisted experiment, showing no concern for her pain or fear. Back at the academy, Sid is being held in a dark room. A group of knights from the Midgar Academy and royal guards begin to torture him, whipping and beating. But Sid doesn't flinch. The pain is nothing to him. He uses this moment to pretend like he's just an average student wrongly caught in a political mess. In reality, he's enjoying playing the background character role. Somewhere else in the academy, Princess Iris, Alexia's elder sister, talks to one of her subordinates, a knight who reports that they couldn't get any useful information out of Sid during interrogation. He truly seems innocent. Iris gives the order to release him, but commands them to keep him under surveillance. Later that day, Sid returns to his dorm room. Alpha is there, waiting silently for him. She gives him a status report that Shadow Garden has grown. They've recruited more skilled girls into the organization, and their investigation has led them to the same underground base where Princess Alexia is being held. It's confirmed. The cult of Diablos is behind this. She tells Sid that everything is in motion. The plan is to infiltrate the facility, rescue the princess, and strike a blow that will let the world know that Shadow Garden exists and stands against the cult. Not long after, the same knights who previously captured Sid are waiting outside the dorm. They attempt to rearrest him under false charges, but this time, Sid doesn't play along. Without hesitation, he eliminates them with swift, clean strikes. No mercy, no delay. Back underground, Alexia manages to break free from her restraints. She sneaks through the dark corridors of the facility, hoping to find an exit, but instead, she runs into her former fiancé, Xenon Griffey. It turns out, this entire operation is under his control. He's working with the cult of Diablos, and he was the one responsible for her abduction. She tries to fight him with her sword, but Xenon overpowers her. Just when things seem hopeless, Shadow arrives, calm, quiet, and confident. Alexia, still recovering from her ordeal, witnesses Shadow's true strength for the first time. His abilities are far beyond anything she could have imagined. Shadow battles Xenon with unmatched sword skills and defeats him effortlessly. That night, Shadow showcases his overwhelming power, shaking the entire capital and leaving the city in awe of his presence. The next day, Sid returns to school like nothing ever happened. The rumors spread quickly. Everyone believes a mysterious figure saved Alexia, but no one knows the true identity of the hero behind the mask. Meanwhile, Princess Iris Midgar holds a secret meeting with her two trusted subordinates to discuss the cult and its growing influence. During this meeting, an enigmatic object is revealed, though its purpose and nature remain unclear. Iris hints at its connection to the cult's activities and insists they need someone with the expertise to unravel its secrets. A new mysterious character appears, Sherry Barnett, a highly intelligent girl and a top-ranking student at the academy. She's quiet, polite, and obsessed with magical theory. The kingdom entrusts her with that special task, decoding an ancient magical artifact which was recovered during the raid on the cult's facility. Without his knowledge, Sid's friends sign him up for the upcoming fencing tournament at the academy. At first, Sid doesn't seem to care much, but when he learns he'll be facing Rose Oriana, the princess of the Oriana kingdom, and one of the academy's strongest, he sees a perfect chance to act out his background character fantasy. During the match, Sid intentionally fights in an odd and awkward way, using strange stances and unpredictable movements. To the audience, it all looks ridiculous, but in reality, he's carefully holding back his true strength while subtly controlling the entire match. Every time Rose lands a solid blow and Sid collapses, the referee begins to announce her as the winner, but then Sid slowly rises again, refusing to give up. This happens repeatedly, surprising everyone and turning the crowd's attention to his strange persistence. Even Rose starts to take the fight more seriously. Toward the end, Rose channels magic into her sword to deliver a finishing move, but just before she can strike, the referee steps in and ends the match to prevent Sid from sustaining further harm. Just when things seem to settle down, chaos erupts. A massive barrier suddenly engulfs the campus, and all magic within the area is cancelled. The attackers claim to be Shadow Garden, but they're imposters with unclear motives. Rose finds herself unable to use magic and and is cornered by a knight ready to strike. Just as the blade comes down, Sid jumps in front of her and takes the hit. His classmates watch in horror as he falls covered in blood. Everyone believes Sid has died protecting Rose, but little do they know, it's all part of his grand act. Rose, shocked and heartbroken, believes that Sid sacrificed himself because he had feelings for her. The Black Knights, posing as Shadow Garden, round up all the students and move them to the auditorium. Once everyone leaves, Sid suddenly opens his eyes. He calmly punches his chest to restart his own heartbeat, a technique he used to fake his death for 10 minutes. Meanwhile, Sherry Barnett continues researching the mysterious artifact, the pendant linked to the Eye of Avarice. Suddenly, Rex, one of the Black Knights, appears to retrieve the artifact. Just in time, Glenn, commander of the Crimson Order, sent by Iris, intervenes. He holds off Rex, giving Sherry a chance to escape with the pendant. Up on the rooftop, Sid observes everything silently. He fires magical arrows to eliminate terrorists within his range, clearing the path for his grand entrance as Shadow. At the same time, he discreetly clears Sherry's path to the principal's office, ensuring her safe passage. Inside the principal's office, Sherry and Sid discover an ancient book revealing the artifact's true purpose. It can temporarily disable the Eye of Avarice and store magic for long-term use. Sherry realizes that if she activates the pendant and brings it close to the Eye of Avarice, she can break the magic-canceling barrier. But first, she needs specialized tools from her research lab. Sid heads there immediately. On the way, he runs into Rex. This time, Sid eliminates all of Rex's men and kills him barehanded in a brutal fight. He retrieves the tools and returns to Sherry. Using the equipment, Sherry activates the artifact and navigates through hidden tunnels beneath the academy. She reaches the auditorium where the students are held and throws the activated artifact near the Eye of Avarice. The barrier breaks, and the students regain their magical abilities. Suddenly, Shadow makes a jaw-dropping entrance from above. Shadow Garden operatives arrive, and an all-out battle against the Black Knights erupts. The enemy leader sets the auditorium on fire and escapes to the principal's office. But Sid is already there. Sid tells the leader that he already knew he was none other than Lutheran Barnett Sherry's adoptive father and the assistant principal. Lutheran reveals that he is terminally ill and long ago sought a cure. During his quest, he encountered Sherry's mother, who held the Eye of Avarice. But instead of working with her, he killed her and took Sherry as nothing more than a tool for his research. Lutheran attacks and throws Sid out of the window, but moments later, he finds Shadow standing there. Unaware that Sid and Shadow are the same person, Lutheran engages in a fierce battle. Shadow defeats him in a dramatic final showdown right in front of Sherry. Without revealing his true identity, Shadow chooses not to tell her the truth. He silently walks away, leaving Sherry in tears. He believes it's better that she never knows the man she saw as her father was actually her mother's killer, and never truly cared for her. The next day, with the academy half destroyed, the students are given early summer vacation. Sid runs into Sherry one last time on the bridge. She says she's leaving the country to continue her studies abroad. They exchange goodbyes and part ways quietly. With no mood to return home, Sid decides to stay in the capital. That's when he receives a letter from Alpha. His next mission awaits in the sacred land of Lindworm. He sets out on the journey with Rose, although the trip feels painfully boring to him. And that's where we'll leave off for now. In the next part of this video, we'll break down what happens in Lindworm and how the story deepens from here. Stay tuned.